Hello, fellow academics. Today we are going to discuss desire and the image of new women in the Victorian period through Bram Stoker's 1897 Gothic horror novel and Ana Lily Amirpour's 2014 horror film. When we think about Gothic, we often picture decaying or old settings like haunted castle and crumbling ruins, and supernatural beings such as ghosts and vampires. Beneath the horror, Gothic texts reveal hidden human truths, desires that are secret, forbidden, and driven by personal need. So, do Gothic texts try to set those desires free, or do they try to shut them down? First, let's define what we mean by Gothic. Fred Botting describes the Gothic as a genre built on negative emotions, things like fear, anxiety, and disgust. Gothic texts expose the chaos and fear within us when we confront the darkest parts of ourselves. In that way, the Gothic creates a perfect space for exploring forbidden desires. By dressing them up as vampires or madness, it allows us to face taboo fears that we cannot express openly, even when it comes to sex, gender, or social prejudice. What about the new woman? The term new woman refers to a feminist ideal that emerged in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. It's typically characterized by women challenging traditional gender roles and becoming more independent. New women often chose education and careers, aiming for financial independence and sexual autonomy, instead of just following the traditional path of marriage and motherhood. Let's start off by looking at desire, especially through Dracula, in which desire is constrained yet seductive. That is a classic Victorian Gothic novel that is haunted and gripped by human desire, especially female sexuality. Written in 1897, when the social scene was undergoing significant shift, Stoker seized this culturally sensitive moment to explore the complexities of the new woman. For example, Lucy is portrayed as sweet and proper at first, but flirts openly and wishes she could marry all the men who propose to her. After Dracula bites Lucy, her sexuality becomes overt and seductive. She transforms into a version of the new woman that terrifies all the men around her. Being too powerful, too erotic, too dangerous to live, she is killed as a symbol of shutting down a woman who steps outside the rules. In contrast to this open image is Mina, a symbol of the new authentic woman. She is initially an assistant schoolmistress and is learning to use a typewriter to support her fiancé, Jonathan Harker's work. She is a warm, artistic girl with a reasoning mind and extraordinary intelligence that makes men admire her. Although both Lucy and Mina are virtuous and poor, their fates are completely different. Lucy dies tragically, while Mina survives Dracula's curse and later has a child with Jonathan. That is because Lucy is punished for her desire, and Mina is rewarded for her restraint. Roger Luckhurst points out that Dracula reflects the fears of Victorian society, fears about women gaining power, Lucy, fears about foreigners, Dracula, and fears about sexuality in all the text. While the novel appears to constrain desire, it also exposes it to reveal tensions within Victorian society. However, more modern adaptations of the vampire narrative offer a very different perspective, most notably Ana Lily's A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, in which desire is reclaimed and queered. The film portrays a patriarchal society where women face oppression, making it vital to reimagine the new woman as someone who challenges power and asserts control over her sexuality. The shift in perspective and the novel setting is what makes this film special and noteworthy. The vampire here is a young woman covered in a black chador, silently stalking and walking down the street of the vast city. The author creates a harmless appearance, but beneath that image are hidden desires. She preys on men who abuse their power. Within this film, desire is liberated because the girl is in control. She chooses who to kill and who to live. She destroys Said for his exploitation in drug dealing and debt, while carrying Arash for his poor soul. Although her relationship with Arash is strange and undefined, but it also shows that desire doesn't have to fit in any norm. Desire is about liberation and freedom. That is where Abdi and Calafell's idea of pre-utopias comes in. They talk about how other connections can develop when society suppresses sexuality and identity. The girl's world is one of those places. It's harsh, broken, and dirty, but it still leaves room for different desires to exist. Because in a society where everything becomes oppressive, humans' desire will grow to relieve themselves. Unlike Dracula, this film doesn't punish desire, it explores it, and imagines what it would look like if a monster had power but still chose intimacy. So, the Gothic text constrain desire or liberate it? The answer is both. They try to suppress what society fears, yet still make space for desire to surface and be explored. Dracula shows us how desire is feared. It needs to be controlled, hidden, or destroyed if the power is too much. But at the same time, it cannot help but be fascinated by that desire, which means we can control desire, but we cannot stop ourselves from desiring. In A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, desire are shown through Gothic as a redemptive thing that free people from life's burden and psychological oppression under a ruined social regime. And in that overflow, desire finds a space to speak.